शिवाय शिवजी सदा सहाय ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा सहाय.
I'd like to share a satsang. Actually, it's regarding one Iranian sangat and one sangat who's a dark skin. I believe he's from not sure where, but a black man. They're both in Toronto. So I have a client, and no coincidence that I had asked Guruji Maharaj for. My prayers were for wisdom. All I wanted was wisdom, and no coincidence that a client comes into my life, and his name was Anthony Wisdom. So that was his way of blessing me, and a year and a half passed by, and one day in meditation, Guruji Maharaj said, "Son, tell Anthony to come to satsangs. Now it's the time." So of course I said, "Guruji, I need your agya. Before any decision, you've made me, with that wisdom that I should come to you and ask for permission always." So, no coincidence again that Mr. Wisdom walks into my life that day, and he's wearing a red shirt, which was a Sunday, and reading Sun Auntie's book. Every day has a color associated with the certain vibrations that Guruji Maharaj had indicated. So he was wearing a red shirt on that Sunday with a huge number 7, and that was my indication and sign from Guruji Maharaj to tell Anthony about Guruji. So I shared my satsang of how I was bedridden for almost 3 years, and how Guruji Maharaj manifested himself in my grandmother's house in Iran, and just the blessings that he had done for me, and visiting Baramandir for Diwali in 2019, and he was just crying, and just, I could feel that Guruji was touching something inside of him. And, and then I heard Guruji say, give him the Swarup, the black and white Swarup, and I had a small size of it. And again, no coincidence that, he pulls out his work badge, and literally that Swarup fits exactly his work badge. And he was going through so much of hardship at his work. And how Guruji has, changed his work, and how it's become so abundant for him. That's another satsang. But, so he started coming to satsang, and, yesterday was his 3rd time, if I'm not mistaken. And in his first satsang, when he came, of course he walked in, and he didn't know what to do, just like my first satsang. I didn't know if I'm supposed to bow or anything. It's just, like Uncle said, total surrender, and just, letting Guruji guide you. And so he just sat down, he didn't bow, and, nothing. I hadn't told him anything. I just said, leave it to God, and he will guide you. And, so he, in the middle of the satsang, he just stood up, and then went to Guruji Maharaj's gatti, and he bowed to Guruji. And I was just, amazed, because at that moment Guruji opened my eyes, and usually, of course, in meditation we have our eyes closed. So he made me witness that miracle. But, of course, I didn't know why he had done that, and my mind decided that, he wants to just bow to Guruji. But after he stood up and shared a satsang, on his first satsang, he shared a satsang, a brave soul. And he said that Guruji Maharaj came out of the Swarup and told him, this is how you're supposed to bow. And, he asked him to get up and bow now. And I was just, of course, now at this point, no surprise with his divinity and what he does, but it's just so amazing that, he's also deepening my faith, witnessing a black man, and I feel like it's Guruji's way of, with all the things that's going on in the world with the Black Lives Matter and things like that. And Anthony Wisdom is one of the, he's very, he's in a lot of events that, are, basically, fighting for equality, and how he's realizing now that there shouldn't be any fight, and just surrender, and it's all in his hands. And so that was really incredible. And, his life has become so amazing. His whole bedroom is full of Guruji's photos, and and I've shared. He's a Christian, and I shared a lot of how Guruji Maharaj used to take his sangat to a church, and how he manifested at times and showed Jesus to his disciples, and then he changed his form back to Guruji. And so there's another satsang of how Guruji brought an another Iranian person, and so this person had been going through a lot of hardship in her life, and no coincidence, I was invited to an event that I was not going to go, and Shakrana to Guruji, my life has been only satsang, but I kept away from a lot of Iranian events and things that didn't serve me really, but that day was only arranged by Guruji, and I ended up going to an event that was held by a friend of mine, and there was this girl there, and she was Guruji just told me to share my satsang with her because I could feel her vibration and I could feel that she was suffering. And I just shared it, and she said, can I just come to meditation next time that you go? And I said yes. So she came, and when she walked into Guruji Satsang in Toronto, she just started crying for the whole 2 hours, and I don't mean just a normal cry, she was howling. And of course Guruji was cleansing her soul, cleansing whatever. And then in the middle of the satsang, she just says, son, I just remembered that my mom had a dream a week ago, and saw divinity in her dream, and I was in a dream, and we were standing in an island, and she said, look, and her name is Shirin. She said, look, Shirin, God is here. And and in her dream, her mom pointed to the sky, and the whole sky was orange. And, and no coincidence that Guruji's chola and everything was orange on the first day that she came into satsang. And so anyway, that finished, and, yesterday she came for her, second or third satsang, I'm not sure, but she came, and she literally had a thought, and she just said to Guruji, if you are real, and if I am your disciple, please tell me that you're here, and please show me. And literally she just said, turn off the lights. They had some lights that were in the satsang behind Guruji's gatti, and she said there were red lights and blue lights, and she specifically asked for the blue lights to be turned off. And she said, turn off the blue lights if you're here. And at that same moment, the lights get turned off, and then they go back on. And as we know, Guruji Maharaj had his ways of, the flickering of the lights and certain things like that. So of course, she was just astonished, and it's just incredible what Guruji Maharaj is doing, and in the lives of Iranians and Africans, and there's so many satsangs happening back home that I've shared this, but I'll share this again, that there was a friend of us who had severe case of schizophrenia in Iran. Her father passed away from the severity of the ailment. She was just married for 2 years, had her first child in Iran, and she gets a severe case of schizophrenia. And it's no coincidence that when of course she wasn't my friend, she was a friend of a friend, and that week I had a satsang in my parents' house. And she just walked in, her eyes were so swollen from crying, and I just thought maybe it was something happening in her own life. But then after satsang, she shared that, this friend of hers in Iran, has been pretty much locked up in a mental institution. And she is so severe, her case, that they have also put something in her mouth because she kept biting her, I don't want to talk too much about the severity of it, but it was so severe that she was harming herself, anyway. So, and she wasn't responding to any of the drugs that they gave to her, as if she was not in the body, and as if evil had taken over her body. That's her family would describe it, really. And, so anyway, during meditation, I heard Guruji say, just give a photo of mine, send a photo, and send it to the family in Iran, and get them to print the photo, and ask them to take it to the mental institution under her pillow or anything. And I didn't know, but this friend of mine, this Iranian girl that had came to Satsang that day and shared this information with me, she said that she had told Guruji, if you are real, and if you, of course we've seen Sun go from that to this, from literally death to being resurrected. But if you are real, I don't have my own experience with you, make this my experience with you. And I only give you 2 weeks to heal my friend in Iran, this girl. So that photo goes to this family that day alone when the satsang was happening. After satsang was sent, they print the photo, they put it in the mental institution, and the family starts talking to Guruji Maharaj, in Farsi. And 2 weeks, exactly 2 weeks, the doctors released this girl from the mental ward. Like, they still to this day, they cannot, of course we know as sangat, but they cannot understand how this person went from that severity to responding to her medicine and just being out of the mental. Usually they keep them up to 3 months, but she was so perfect that they released her. And of course, it's all Guruji Maharaj. So he is truly, like, I remember when I went to New York, Sun Aunty said, this is the time, this is now Guruji, waking up the world. And it's so evident with my life and the black man and like the other Iranians that I see, and Guruji's now working in Iran, and it's so amazing. We have no idea who Guruji Maharaj is. We will never know, I believe, but his grace is becoming more evident, and he's so powerful today. And like Uncle said, truly surrender and letting it all be on his hands. That is the key. So Shukrana Guruji, not only for saving my life, but literally deepening my faith. And, there's so many sangat tell me that how do you connect when everybody's sharing Hindi, or it doesn't matter. Guruji tells me always that it's the vibration. Even if I don't understand, I'm not doing anything. It's all him anyway. All the praise and all of it goes to Guruji, because I was nothing. I am nothing. But it's really him, and just you sharing about him, even if it's all in Hindi, I receive. And it's no coincidence that, I have a question for Guruji and someone is sharing the whole thing in Hindi, and they just say one word in English, and that would be my answer. So Shukrana Guruji, Jai Guruji, may Guruji bless all, and he is blessing all. Jai Guruji Maharaj. Thank you.